Hey, what's up, my friend? So in today's video, I want to share with you a $100,000 loss that I've incurred and what you can learn from it. So here's the screenshot, right? The proof, right, of my loss, right? This is on a live trading account, as you can see over here. All right, it's live, and I funded this sub account with 100 grand, and right now it's left with about $4,500, right? So at the point where I did this screenshot, so you can see that the loss is pretty much here. If you want to see about here's about 80 plus thousand, but there's a bit of more losses which is not shown in this screenshot over here. So all in all, the total loss is about 95 grand, almost $100,000. So I put it as 100 grand because it's easier to say. Okay, so what I want to share with you next is kind of like the backstory, how it happened, why it happened, and the lessons that you can take away from it. So let me share with you the backstory. So it was back in 2020 in April where the price of oil collapsed, right? And the reason it collapsed is for two major reasons. Number one, there is a huge oversupply of oil. And number two, the demand of oil, right, is very low due to COVID-19, right? Planes, they can't fly. There's no need for oil. So when you have a huge supply of oil met with a very low demand of oil, what happened is that the oil prices drop, right? Because, basic economics 101, right? When you have a lot of something and that there's very little demand of that something, the price of that something will drop. So price of oil dropped to a very low price at a point in time before I put on the bet, right? It was about $20. So I bought oil, right? Thinking that, oil eventually will recover. And the basis of my this so-called investment was because it's not the first time that we are met with a virus, right? Like COVID-19. Previously, we have, the Spanish flu, we have SARS, we have MERS, and stuff like that. All the different names, right? And each and every time, we, as a human race, we come out stronger. So to me, right, this is no different. Eventually, we will overcome the virus and things will get back to normal. And when things go back to normal, demand for oil pick up, right? Oil prices should increase accordingly. So I bought oil, right, around $20 price point. In fact, I thought it was $15, but my memory is wrong, right? Based on the screenshot you saw earlier, it's about $20. So I bought about oil, almost 100 grand worth of oil, around $20 price point. And at the point in time, I was looking to hold oil for a few years and sell it around the $60 or $70 price point, around there, $60 to $70 price point. And what happened next is that within a few days, the price of oil went negative, as you can see over here. It went negative to a low of negative $37. So you might be thinking, hey, Rayner, what happened, man? So the reason this happened is that many traders, right, are trying to, not take delivery of oil. So basically, right, if you buy an oil contract, right, and the contract expires, you need to sell that contract and roll it over to the next month, right? If not, you'll take delivery of the contract. So many of us speculators speculating the oil market, we are not interested in taking delivery of oil. I don't want a few hundred barrels of oil in my garden, even though it can't happen, right? So I'm going to sell that contract right before it expires. So many of us are trying to rush for the exit at the same time because we don't want to take delivery of oil. And when many people rush for that door at the same time, the price of oil, right, went negative. Right? In other words, right, you're actually being paid to buy oil. But of course, right, you wouldn't get paid to buy oil. You wouldn't do it because you probably don't have any storage capacity space to store your oil. Those need money. So many of us were caught off guard and we rushed for the exit at the same time, and that led to the collapse of oil. So pretty much my broker liquidated my oil position and I incurred, close to 100 grand loss, right, on this oil trade. So that aside, right, what are some of the lessons that you can learn, from my expense, right? So lesson number one is this. You're richer than you think. So let me share with you what I mean by this. So when I had this loss, right, close to 100 grand, I couldn't keep it in my chest. And of course, I couldn't do this video and share with you my loss, because it was so raw, the feelings were still painful. I think it's now close to almost a year I'm doing this video now. So it was, at that point in time, it was very raw, very painful. And I needed an outlet to share it with somebody, and who other than my wife. So I woke my wife up in the middle of the night and I told her, hey, darling, I lost, close to six figure on this trade. And she woke up and she was like stunned for a moment, just wake up. And after that, she absorbed the news and she asked me a series of questions, and that really changed my perspective of things. She asked me, will our lives change? I replied, no, nothing will change. Will we still be able to put food on the table for ourselves and the kids? I said, yes. There will still be food. Will we still have, a shelter over our head? I said, yes, there will still be a shelter over your head. And then she said to me, darling, don't worry, I believe you'll make it all back, right? I have faith in you. And that was it. And that's at the point is when I realized that Number one, it pays to have a supportive spouse, right, who support what you does. And number two, I'm actually richer than I thought. Yes, I had this 6-figure loss. It didn't feel good, but in the grand scheme of things, if you take a step back, or rather take 10 steps back, nothing has really changed at all. My kids are still healthy. They still can go to school. I still can feed them, clothe them. We still have a roof over our head. My wife still loves me. Nothing much has really changed. And that taught me to be grateful and taught me, right, what it means to be rich. Not just in monetary terms, but to be rich, right, in relationships, in health, and stuff like that. Okay, so number one, some of you watching this right now, you might have incurred huge losses, maybe even more than me, but take 10 steps back and think, right, you might actually be richer than you think. Number two, next lesson, anything can happen in the market. So I think this one is quite self-explanatory. And this, you look at this, Rayner, right? But trust me, right, before this happened, before oil price went negative, I'm pretty sure, right, if you ask anybody, right, anybody watching this video right now, you would say that an asset price can never go negative. You're crazy, Rayner, nothing can go negative. But now that it has happened, right, hey, anything can happen in the markets. So this should be a lesson for me, for you, for anyone watching this, is that, anything can happen in the market. So if you are, trading something that has a high probability of winning, you're trading something that, you're so sure, you're going to make money. Well, just look at what happened to me. Anything can happen in the markets. I didn't expect oil to go negative. In fact, I expected, oil to rebound higher. I had like 80% confidence that I should make money on that bet. But guess what? I lost money. So anything can happen in the markets. If you're the type of trader that, have like a 500 pip stop loss, a 5 pip target profit, you have been, getting 5 pips target profit for the last few months, guess what? Anything can happen in the markets. It's a matter of time before that 500 pip loss, hits your face. Okay, so number 3 is this, right? Never bet the farm. And I guess that's the only consolation I had from this experience, is that I didn't bet the farm. I didn't sell my house. I didn't mortgage my house. I didn't sell my kids to raise money and to, go all in on oil. No, I didn't. I did none of that. Okay, because if I did that, right, you can be sure that, I wouldn't be making this video right now. I might be making maybe 10 videos a day, right, to get paid for YouTube ads to earn more money. I'm just kidding. But you get my point, right? Never bet the farm, because the markets is so uncertain. If you agree with me that anything can happen in the markets, then it makes no sense, right, to go all in to bet the farm on any one idea, one trade, one opportunity, one investment idea, or whatsoever. Never bet the farm, because anything can happen in the markets. So don't borrow money to trade. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose, because the last thing you want is to dramatically change your livelihood because of one greedy trade. Make sense? Next one. Was this a good bet? So this is a question that I ask myself repeatedly, right, after this oil saga. What I did, was this the right thing or the wrong thing to do? Because this is not, for most new traders, they would say, I had a loss on this trade. This is a wrong decision. This is a bad trade. Or I made money on this trade. Hey, that's a good trade. That's a good decision. No, it's not quite as simple as that, because there is something called the law of large number. So you can actually make money on wrong decisions and lose money on good decisions. Right? Play back the video if that confused you, right? You can make money on wrong decisions, you can make money on wrong decisions, lose money on good decisions. So ask myself this question: what I did, was it wrong? And to kind of answer this question, I simulate this, right, across, let's say, 1,000 different multiverse. What if, across 1,000 different timeline, right? Would all 1,000 times this oil market go negative? And possibly maybe, half of it, 50% of them, right, would go negative, and another 50% might not be. But with that question frame in mind, right, I then ask myself, how could I make this bet even better, or rather safer for me, in case, WTI does go negative again. And that's where I realized that I should have expressed my opinion of oil across different instruments. Meaning, don't just put all that $100,000 in the WTI oil contract. I can put it across, ETFs, across options. I can put it across the Brent crude oil market. So this way, I'm kind of like diversified in that sense across the instrument, right? So if one instrument, like let's say WTI goes negative, I still have money in other instruments, right, that could, not go negative and, even make a profit from it. So this is really one of the bigger lessons that I learned, right? So yes, this was a good bet to me, but what I should have done better is to express the bet, right, across multiple instruments out there. Because oil, right, you don't just have like one oil instrument called WTI. No, you can express it in ETFs, options, Brent crude oil, etc. So a few questions that you might have for me, and let me just answer them right before we conclude today's session. So hey, Rayner, why didn't you use a stop loss? So here's the thing, right? This isn't a trade, right? This is more like an investment to me. I was prepared to hold this for the next 3 to 5 years. And the only stop loss that I had was I was prepared to risk money I can afford to lose. That was kind of like my stop loss, because the only reason that I would sell that oil trade is, let's say there's another commodity out there that could replace oil. Maybe it's cheaper, it's better, it's faster. then oil, right? And then oil has no reason to, be in demand anymore. Then, hey, maybe I will sell, that oil position that I had. But if that didn't happen, right, I was prepared to hold this for the next 3 to 5 years for, things to go back to normal, for the demand of oil to pick up, right? And, to hopefully catch the rebound up higher. And from the last time I just checked, the futures price of oil was about $50+ right now. So if only I didn't, get so-called stopped out, right, I would probably be sitting on 6-figure profit right now. But if only, right, would have, should have, could have, it's not going to put food on the table. So yeah, whatever. Next one, right? Why didn't you follow your trading rules? And again, this isn't a trade to me. This is more of an investment. So when I invest, right, it's money that I'm prepared to lose. So in a way, I accept the consequences. Is all on me. It was money that I could afford to lose. It was money that I was prepared to lose. And to be honest, I was kind of like 80% certain that I would make money. But in this case, clearly I'm wrong. I lost money, even though I was 80% confident. And yeah, I live with it. I live to share the story, and hopefully you learn something out of it, right? And you can, become a better trader, a better investor. With that said, let's do a quick recap. Number one, you're richer than you think. So this experience taught me that, really I'm richer than I think. I'm grateful for great health, happy kids, healthy kids, my wife who's so supportive, and, I have a roof over my head. Number two, anything can happen in the markets. And if you know that anything can happen in the markets, that should signal to you that you should never bet the farm, never go all in, never borrow money to trade, never, sell your house or whatsoever because of greed. Doesn't make sense. And finally, number four, think in terms of probability. So yes, this is a 100K loss to me. But if you ask me if such an opportunity were to arise again in the future, I would take it, right? But I'll be smarter about it, right? I would actually, express my opinion, right, across different market instruments. So kind of like to be diversified. So with that said, right, I hope you got value out of this video. If you enjoyed it, smash the thumbs up button. If you don't, then hit subscribe. So with that said, I wish you good luck, good trading. I will talk to you soon.